What are key metrics in a business plan? You all know that you can't manage what you can't measure, so what should we measure? Why are metrics so important? And what metrics should you track? So I love this topic because this really heads into some ground that is profound to me in the sense that there are leading indicators and there are lagging indicators. I'll give you an example from lean construction to kind of entice you a little bit. We all know in the last planner system that we have master schedule, pull plan, look ahead planning, weekly work planning, day planning, and then what's called percent plan complete tracking. That's where if you had 10 activities that were promised or planned and you only got 8, you would divide 8 into 10. That's an 80% percent plan complete, right? For the 2 that you didn't get, you would go in and do a root cause, find out what's happening, and then redirect in the future. Okay? That's called the percent plan complete as a part of the last planner system. Now, the metric is great. I'm totally fine with it, but it is not as useful as people think. It is a lagging indicator, meaning that it comes behind the work itself, meaning that you find out how good or bad you did after the fact. You can only readjust if you do that same activity again in a repeatable fashion. I personally would love to have leading indicator systems. So if percent plan complete tracking, did we get it done or not, is a lagging indicator, what is a leading indicator number? Well, there's a couple. Roadblock removal ahead of the activity or the quality preparation steps ahead of the fact, right? Those are 2 things that can be done as a leading indicator ahead of the task to make sure that it does happen properly and that we can predict success. Okay, so lagging indicator, yes, they'll help in the future. Yes, we know more of what's going on. But leading indicators really help us to make sure that we prevent problems the first time. So when we talk about metrics in a business, whether it's part of the business plan or the business once you're implementing it, I'm really just talking about it like it's a part of your business. You can track things that are lagging indicators, or you can track things that are leading indicators. And if you understand the tracking of metrics from the book Traction by Gino Wickman, he says that you should take time to find out what are the key metrics for your business that you must track that will predict success. Then get on a 3-month calendar where every week is represented by a column. And you have the goal. So let's say that customer outreach was a leading indicator metric that you wanted to track, and that you had to do 30 a month for that to be successful. You divide 30 into the 20 days. Let's just say that it's 2 per day or roughly above 8 per week. And so, obviously 8 times 4 is 32. So you'll be above the 30 mark. So you're good to go. So you have your target. Then you need to assign somebody from the leadership team to own that metric to make sure that it happens. And then what happens is, as a part of your meeting cadence, you're checking in on these metrics constantly. And the person responsible is showing how that number is going up or down, so that by the end of the 90 days or the end of your 3 months, you can actually attempt to hit those targets and actually take steps that will predict success. And so this becomes your company scorecard. Now, really briefly, and this is not a part of an overall business training yet, there will be business videos coming as a part of this YouTube channel in the future, but I will say when you're tracking metrics as a part of your business, and I will say as a part of a construction company, you will have your clarity and your vision. You will have your to-do list items, your goals for the quarter, right? And your metrics. As you're going through your meeting agenda, go through your to-do list, right? You go through your goals for the quarter, and then you go through your scorecard, your metrics. Then you'll be able to review the status and find issues. So the next critical thing in your business that you want to know is all your issues, right? So if you're not meeting your metrics, if you're not following up on your to-do list, if you're not accomplishing or on track to accomplish your goals for that quarter, then you have issues. Once you have those issues, now you have something that you can IDS, identify, discuss, solve, identify, discuss, solve. And so in your leadership team meetings and in your daily check-ins, you're able to review this as a business and actually gain traction on your business because you're solving problems and moving forward. So your metrics aren't just something to look at. Your metrics are there to trigger you to see the issues that you have so you can solve the issues so you can move forward. And so you're probably asking yourself, what are some good metrics? I'll give you a list of some metrics that are commonly used. Weekly revenue, cash balance, sales calls, sales meetings, proposals, closed business, payroll, customer problems, customer rating, accounts receivable, accounts payable. And some of the ones that we like to use at Elevate and Lean Tact are the number of days of PTO taken, the happiness level of our employees, meaning which one of them are feeling fulfilled and successful, the capacity status of our people, are they overburdened, how many trainings we do with the project team, how many times we interact together, how many people have been connected with one by one. And so you can insert not just these process money driven metrics, but also these people-driven metrics as well. And that brings me to my other point, that Jim Collins said your number one metric is the percentage of key seats that have the right people. So a key seat is a seat on your leadership team or in your organization that has a high potential for success if done right, that has a high chance for failure for the overall business if it's done wrong, right? And you need the right people, meaning that you need to have somebody that's a cultural fit, that can do it well, that loves doing it, that can make a lot of money doing it, and that is good at it. And if you have the right people in the right seats that are really creating raving fans internally and externally, that is the number one metric you should track. And Jim Collins says it should be above 90%, meaning you should have 90%, above 90% of your key seats filled. If not, that is the number one thing that you should work on in your business. And so I'm going to give you a challenge. Track your number one metric. What are the key seats in your organization, regardless of who's there? Do you have the right people in those seats according to your core values? Do you know what your metrics are? Once you know what your metrics are, after you've done the most important one, and they're listed, go ahead and get yourself that weekly 3-month total calendar. Assign the goal with the leadership team, assign the person, and start tracking these on a weekly basis. Every time you get into a meeting, you're looking at your to-do list, you're looking at your quarterly goals, and you're looking at your metrics. If something there isn't tracking, that becomes an issue. Then issues get identified, discussed, and solved. That's when you'll gain traction on your business. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. This applies to construction companies everywhere I go. I'm going to link you in the description below to the book Traction so that you can check it out for yourself and go in and reference that and find your own metrics for your own business so you can measure winning, so you can actually win and enjoy your role as a business owner or as a part of the business you're in. On we go.